I think he's gonna do it. I think he's gonna lock it.
So locked in. FlyQuest in Game 5 of the quarterfinals against GenG.
This team has no front line. Look at GenG's draft. Chovy has been outspoken about the fact that, yeah, I'll play Smolder because it wins, but I don't like playing it, right? So he said that. So he's going to feel slightly more agitated potentially about this pick. Then they're also going for damage. You see Smolder, Rumble, and even Ziggs. They are going for all of the damage into the fight, saying, hey, if you're going to play this same style where we just like, you know, waft at each other, just like look around and just maneuver around a team fight, you know, front to back, then yeah, we'll just splash you with all this extra damage. And Yone, not only is Yone capable of puncturing this fight, Fiddlesticks is the best champion in the game if you get the right situation for these big convoluted fights, and Set can help you make it happen. Look at this team. You just have Skarner and Maokai from a support position does not have the stats to hold back against a push. Set can just take the Skarner and dunk him into the rest of the team, which automatically gives you a pivot spot for the Yone and for the Kalista to start diving forward. And once they dive forward and you create a new line of scrimmage on the battlefield, that's when Fiddlesticks can try to get his ultimate off. I love the adaptation from Fly, and I love that they waited till Game 5 to do it. How's Busio doing? I need to see him. He looks much calmer, much more like, okay, I'm here and I belong here. Before we saw his eyes twitching around, it looked like he was barely taking a breath. That looked much more reserved. We've seen him ride that roller coaster. We need him to be the best version of himself, because every member of this team needs to play well if they're going to get this done. The draft can do it. They have won the draft. They have very clear avenues to win this game. If Rumble decides to ult in any line, FlyQuest is just going to say, redraw the line of scrimmage, skip it. Right, and if he goes too deep with the Rumble ult, everyone just goes forward. You say Kalista forward, Yone forward, Set, take their front line, dunk it into their back line. They might get two different positions that allow them to go front to back and say, hey, Set is equally effective trying to pinch in from the backside. Are you going to run away from Set where you can dunk and again give that position? It'll be fascinating. It'll be interesting to see if they can play it out. Bwipo, energy is high. He's been in a good spot. It looks like he'll be okay. But he has made slight mechanical misplays. Has gotten a little bit too aggressive a couple times. In the Galio game, he did it as well. Is he going to be able to pull off exactly what we need from him? And is he going to say, hey, I'm willing to stone the Rumble? I have not seen the Set Rumble matchup at all this year. So I can't tell you up to date. Ever since the Rumble changes, we haven't seen this matchup. I don't know what to expect for sheer power, but I can guarantee you that Bwipo does. Now, super high magic damage profile, especially if we can go back to the top of mind, the ideas that we thought about. Let's just get this guy down a peg. All right, make him miss a CS per wave. Make him miss 2 waves from having to recall. Anything that gets him lower than he would otherwise naturally be. Inspired with a nice thumbs up. He's like, I'm not even going to move. You can hit me with that. I'm going to regenerate up because I have my jungle item. Magic damage, split, magic damage, magic damage. Some amount of split, although they did move most of it to physical damage here. They might be able to take this fight if they go into that game plan of, hey, we can just take this and play for Chovy being low. Hold on, we're just going to go on Maokai. Oh, the satchel charge being used at level 1? Wow. All right, but that's on cooldown, so now you guys can just play aggressively right now, please. Please, please. Why aren't they stepping up? I don't know. All right, Fiddlesticks. I have not seen pros go after this.
Set is just really difficult for a lot of melee matchups because you can walk forward. The E and the passive autos do so much damage. It is very difficult to deal with him. You know,
we are witnessing history, the most crucial moment. There we go. Let's do it.
For Rumble, it's going to be about keeping distance, using the electro.
All right, so they may not know where Skarner is. They don't know necessarily that Skarner's not coming down for a fast gank on them, but that would be a high pressure adaptation that you wouldn't expect them to try to adapt by that much, because that's seen as a generally weak play. Smolder just bullied the Yone right there. Yone's already at half health. Generally, you want to stay a little bit healthier here so you have a little bit more threat when you get to level 3. But Chovy taking this matchup to the maximum. We'll see if he has 2 points in Q now. He also has grasp, right? So he knows that he's got plenty of mana in this matchup, and he's going to sustain himself back up with the biscuits, making sure that he takes this matchup and gets as much of a lead as possible. That is what this page is about. Grasp. I don't think he's going to... I guess he has to have Demolish, right? He's not going to have Font of Life. He's definitely not going to be Shield Bash, so... I don't know, maybe it's Demolish. He wants to get as much of a lead for himself as possible, using Grasp, using Biscuits, and scale up into this endgame with the most efficient gold champion in the game, right? Hyper endgame scaler. But I love the answer from Fly, right? We talked about it at the end of Game 4. If they are going to continuously take one cog further into the scaling, then we want to jump ahead in the early game. Spike 3 to 6. Spike all through the early game until 2 items. Yone can take any position, right? He's just so good into both spots. He can play aggressively, even on fewer items. Fiddlesticks and Set, same thing. Early. We double down and say we don't want to play endgame scaling against Smolder. We want to take it to you, take the fights as early as possible, and especially look for that big blowout. It's going to be hard to defend against Headbutt, whatever this R is called. And then the fact that we have repositioning on the fight for the Yone Set, and then that allows the Fiddlesticks to get in. Do not underestimate the ability for these champions to reposition the fight. All of these champions can reposition the fight. That's exactly what you want when you're playing against this splash damage and against Rumble. All right, Zig's trying to get the most off of Kalista. It's really too bad that Masu on this Kalista did not go for the maximum. Satchel Charge is Zig's longest cooldown and least effective spell, and he used it at level 1 to stop the headbutt plus all-in power of Kalista, and then they did not aggress, which is it's nothing but a blunder. There's nothing to be said. That had to be a moment that you go for it. This is the reason why it's a little bit tricky to put all your eggs into the rookie basket, because they're the ones that are most likely to feel the pressure. But that's why it's your job as a coach, as a captain, to make sure that these guys are feeling good. You've show them that, hey, you've carried, your Kaisa carried. You can be in position to take this game for us. You need them to be confident, because you need them to take those sorts of fights if they come up again. I didn't watch Inspired's clear. It looked like he was doing the trick to double stack the waves. Fiddlesticks has very specific positions that you can stand on the new map to get a very fast clear off. Hold on, Blippo has his ultimate. He's just going to reposition the Skarner, step back. Nothing, no real threat here. You just are, and then you reposition. Fiddle does not have level 6, and he's not particularly close. He just hit 5, right? So, wait, where are the XP bars? They've blocked the HUD. Okay, well, we'll just have to look for it right here. Skarner on 5.5 is going to be slower by a camp as we continue through the game. We have the early Sork Shoes, which is Fiddlestick's way of taking it. Now expect them to go for this. They haven't taken this fight yet in the tournament or in this match, because the game plan has been, let's see if they just take it, they take it, we just scale, we can take all the gold. We can let them have Void Grubs, but we'll take the rest of the gold. But this time they get nothing. They just give up the Void Grubs cleanly, and on top of that, they're going to make a play. We saw from Set that in the past, he got beat right here. This time he does not die, and in fact, he gets some trade damage back, which is huge. There's 3 champions up on this side. One of the things that they're looking for at this 640 mark, right? 6 minutes at the grubs, you finish it by about 630. You go straight up top, the wave arrives at 630, you're pushing into the turret with Ziggs at 640. That's the idea. You want to get to this turret and rip it apart with your 3 Void Grubs. They're going to try a similar or identical play after the second set of Void Grubs. I'd love to see a defensive play established. Fiddlesticks clearing vision for himself. They're putting everything into trying to get this Set down, and Set is just so good into 1v2, 1v3. He can actually use his E right here. He dodges this, sidesteps. So good. This is what we need. Come on, do the sit-ups. Do the sit-ups. Not only is GenG making a good play just because this is a smart play for themselves anyways, but it's what you have to do. You have to get Ziggs out of the Kalista lane. It is up to Masu now to get as big as possible. If you're inspired, if you're Bwipo, you take these moments to remind Quad and you remind Masu, you guys are the carries. All right, we've got this. We've got you. You've got us. We all we need. What time is it? Game time. Oh. Right, pick whatever chant you want. You need these guys to be strong. You need them to play their maximum, and you need, for them to do that, they need to be super confident. They need to trust in each other. They need to trust themselves. Give them these moments. You know that the Kalista is very, very strong right now. Has an extra plate to their name. Doesn't have as much wave clear as the Ziggs, so can't rotate quite as quickly, but they can bounce around, and they can try to do this side-to-side swing. Right? Are they going to go for it? Are they going to try for an all-in here if this top lane gets defended? If they send Ziggs up top, fully expect them to send it. Fiddlesticks is going to give the Ocean Drake and he's going to play for top. I expect a dive to be made on the top side here. Sets out first to wave. Rumble's going to go pick this up. Smolder might try to rotate over. It looks like they're trying to make a play, but the fact that Quad queued forward means that they're going to be in position to react to this. Now, Alistar needs to step back. Pulverize is totally fine. You reposition the Kalista. Now, here's something from Kalista. You do not need to be that far back, right? I want you right here. Attack distance away from the wall. The second the Skarner shows up, I want you ripping into him. You need to deal the maximum amount of damage. You need to show them that we are not afraid of you. We are going to punish you for overcommitting to this play, right? We have enough health. We have enough support. The Quad is in mid lane. He's picking up the wave. He's about to catch up on the next wave. He's totally fine. The Fiddlesticks is pathing towards us. If they commit to a fight on us right here, then Fiddlesticks blows up the game. So that's a huge missed opportunity from Masu, and more importantly, combined with what we saw at level 1, that he was not willing to continue that fight, and what we saw just now, it looks like he's not playing his best. He's not pushing the champions to the limit. So who's going to come through? Quad has been the guy that the team has been vocal about, saying this is our best player, we want to win through you. Remember in the beginning I said that if we want to play through a best of 1, you're playing through Quad. I like that over the course of a game, over a series, you put some flexibility into Masu, but in this game you say, no, you're Kalista, we give you the maximum so that it forces them to respect our strong side, and we're playing through Yone. Yone Fiddlesticks, if we get any sort of team fight with the two of these, if we can bundle them up, we will win that fight. Kalista's going to have to play a little bit of like an assassin role. You're going to have to find Smolder and just rip into Smolder, because the splash damage is going to be too great. You can't just play slow, steady, pause format against all of this AoE. Kalista does have the ability to sidestep and move away from some of it, but you have to be willing to set the limits and go forward. And make no mistake about it, late game does not matter for these champions. This is all that matters right here, this scoop. And if you can get that big team fight, you can deal kill 3 guys early in the fight, then you can say, Kalista, all right, bring us home, 1v1. Right, but in a spray and pray game, you're going to lose to Smolder, Rumble, Ziggs, and there's no way around it.
Right now, that head-to-head is still very close. A few hundred.
All right, are we going to see something like an Abyssal Mask from the Fiddlesticks? Probably not. We're going to see Landry's into Zhonya's and maybe Riftmaker after that. Sometimes we see the Pen. May not have to go with Pen damage because it's the only source of significant AP. So that being said, maybe they don't go in for anything, but Abyssal Mask does the best of all worlds, right? It shreds theirs, also gives you extra resistances to be able to play in the middle of this AoE fight with Maokai, with Ziggs, Rumble, etc. Champions that are dealing 100% magic.
This point, and it's just going to speed up and speed up. I mean, hasn't purchased any CDR, so to be at that point is very impressive. FlyQuest, though, over on the grubs here. GenG moving to potentially contest.
We can't contest this. We're going to get 2 before anything else happens. Perfect timing there. Oh, they actually used 2 ultimates? Wow, that's so good for FlyQuest. We get both of those and 2 ultimates are down, which means that we're strong and we get to force here. Top side is strong side. Bwipo just needs to keep control of this Rumble on the other side. Yone can go for short trades, but he is down the level for the moment right now. Just picks up level 10. Once he gets 11 and he gets to that first item, he'll be okay. You see that he did pick up the Cull, so he is absolutely playing for that spike. kind of interesting that the team's looking to be really strong right now, and he's not because of that call purchase, but because he's at 98 stacks, he's feeling really, really good. Team's always listening to Inspired. We heard it from their interviews that basically they wait till Inspired says go. And going into the draft, Inspired will say, this is the break point. This is what we want. Is it going to be Rocket Belt to reposition from Fiddlesticks? Probably not. It's going to be Leandri's and Zhonya's almost definitely. But does he go for something like Shadow Flame and say, I want, or Storm Surge, I want the highest amount of upfront burst damage that allows Yone and Kalista to blow up the fight? Are we looking for big chunk of damage from the set ultimate that allows me to just rip through the fight? And then it's just a matter of Yone and Kalista to chase people down with the skill set that they have. Quad has proven to be a very good Yone player, and we've seen Masu be a very good Kalista player. So I like the setup. I love that they're innovating. It's going to be a tough spot to pull off. What is Alistar's job in this game? Is it Alistar's job to reposition the Skarner, make sure that he can't take as much forward position? Or is it just a matter of like helping the set to find the right angle? If they move together and equal and opposite come together like a heart, if they come together into a fight, you can get a headbutt that lines people up, that allows Set to drop them down into the middle of the fight, which allows Yone to scoop them up, which allows Fiddlestick. Is it a little bit too much of a pipe dream? I don't think so, because GenG has proven that they want to play these front to backs. They also, though, are going to be very good at web formation, right? The web formation is going to take the fight. Let's say this is the nucleus of the fight, and against like a lollipop team that we've spoken about with Skarner being right here. Web formation is to do this, right? And to basically control an area like this one right here and say, which direction would you like to go in? All of us are dealing damage to you. If you tried to lollipop in front of us, we just spread out. But that's where, if we continue this formation where we have this, Alistar puncturing in or Set puncturing in, both will consolidate this formation to this shape, which suddenly allows Yone to be a little bit more impactful, makes it more likely that you get people split up. It also means that Kalista can just take the Alistar and throw them into the middle of the fight and go for a big fight. So maybe that's the shape. If FlyQuest is willing to do it, is probably number one, and able to do it is number two. Then that's going to be the way that they take home this game. With a proactive play, you're going to be throwing down the gauntlet in their face and say, no, we're coming to you. We're not going to wait. We're not going to chip. We're going to play for this all in. It's dicey, though. It's definitely high octane.
And put themselves in a spot where they can make other teams respect their presence here at this tournament.
Exactly. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. You know, for
like to have this down. This is a Mountain Drake spawned right now. They've messed up the overlay. They screwed up the overlay. They have a second backup one up in place right now, so you don't see the experience bars, which is a shame. I think level 11 is a big one for the Fiddlesticks, and you see that he went the tonic, right? Triple tonic to go for maximum spike off of that big ultimate. They're going to take every fight from here on out. The fact that they didn't get one dragon is a little bit damning. It means that GenG has plenty of time to play for turrets, play side to side, zigs, get him access to the turrets. But you can see that, look at how healthy these are. One plate down, right? Not even a dent showing on the bot or top side turret. It's basically just Smolder in the range versus melee that was able to get some amount of work done on this mid lane. And basically that's all. It's chip damage. They don't care. It's just chip damage. Once these start falling, that's when those mages start gaining a lot of their power. Set keeps a lot of his power when you say, no, you can't even invade my jungle. Like, how, if GenG, how are you ever supposed to step in here when you've got these turrets blocking the way? Like, you can't go forward. You can't go forward into this Set Yone Alistar. So Fly says, we're going to hold everything. We'll defend everything.
We have to be approaching the longest first blood of Worlds.
I think it already is, because I remember in an earlier game it being about 13 minutes in.
All right, check out this dive on Quad. Are they going to go for it? He's going to have to spend his ultimate. No, he goes forward. He dodges the first part. He does get the first scoop, and he snaps back to buffer against the ultimate from the Skarner. Dunk here in the backside. Keen is getting his ultimate down. Quad steps forward. I don't like that he went back forward into that fight. So now they're going limit testing right here. Zig's ult is sprayed. So slight mistake there. Good setup as far as strategy, but then Quad goes a little bit too far forward. You cannot take the rest of this fight. You have to be really careful. Masu, I'm glad that you're dealing the most amount of damage that you could right there. But we took the 5 versus 5. Could have had the upfront. In fact, did have the win. But then mechanical misstep gives them the first blood. You're still going to be okay. You're still going to be in a good position. I'm still going to look for these proactive plays where Kallista's looking to send the Alistar into the middle of their team. And defending against a play, totally fine. You see these Blade of the Ruined Kings, this is another sign that they're going for early spikes. This is going to be Seeker's Arm Guard. That might be their spike. They might say, hey, on Seekers we go. But it might be 2 items on Kallista, 2 items on Yone that they go for it. They certainly cannot wait for Chovy to get there. And based on the amount of farm that he has a shutdown for himself. He got that kill. Importantly, he's going to be able to finish this Manamune. So it's his prerogative to carry. FlyQuest is going to have to be super cognizant of these spikes, making sure that they don't take a fight without knowing exactly where Smolder's items are. But Smolder will beat them to 2 items. So they're going to have to be super careful about that. Do you go back to that top of mind issue, Chovy's weaknesses in the past, where he might overcommit to a wave, teleport to something? Didn't see this angle that they took.
That was the missing flash. Lehens forced his, his cleanse. He forced his cleanse down on that bot side around that skirmish. This time, uses the flash, flashes forward, catches him out with no cleanse. There was no shot for Masu to get out of there.
And that's 2 quick towers secured for GenG. Bot mid going their way. They forced Bwipo
back-to-back turrets. All right. Take a moment, FlyQuest. Gather your mind, gather your spirit. Get ready to show out. You know that you get outscaled. Don't feel the pressure. Just think about what your spike is going to be. What is the big shape that we're looking for? And no matter what, you always have the option that Yone might still carry the game, especially if you're able to pick up Smolder in the fight. Look at these ward lines. This is what allowed GenG to take that. A little bit of an issue with Busio. Again, a little bit too proactive on his warding patterns. A little bit too much help to the Fiddlesticks. Fiddle does need help killing the Rift Herald because the number of auto attacks is what procs the eye opening. And killing the eye is the biggest way to kill the Rift Herald itself. They end up going for it. They take the play. I don't like Fiddlesticks being the one that grabs it because his effigy is such a powerful effect to have down. You don't want to not have access to that. But that's the route that they choose for. It might be okay because he's the best player on the team and you want him to be the one making the decisions. Bwipo's in a really tough spot. How are they going to get him out of this? No, they actually just pull back. Okay, Fiddlesticks is hiding right here. Look at this. See, this is that example. They're trying to wait for this fight. Can they bait a hasty response? Kalista, no one's picking up this wave. The fact that Kalista's moving over means that GenG might know. But Fiddlesticks says, we've got it. Chain CC, suppressed, dunk, Chovy's gone. Boom, dead. All right, that's exactly what you need. Alistar follows up the fight. Now imagine if Kalista had actually been pushing up the mid wave. Extra resources, now you're pushing up mid. Instead gets nothing for themselves, which means, hey, do you come back here and go for the turret or do you go? But this whole time, very, very important, this person got nothing. Zero assists, 0 waves, 0 experience, no gold. So that's a big deal when we look at AD carry scaling and whether or not Kalista's going to be good on that 2-item spike. They're going to be fine. They're going to be solid in the fights that ensue. That is the sort of situation that we were talking about. Setting up a trap, Fiddlesticks, getting a big chunk, making it more likely that the enemy team runs from you in a straight line, making it very easy for Bwipo to go. And it works both ways. You can either have Bwipo to pile them up, or you can say you have to run from Fiddlesticks, which makes it much more likely that they line up and move in the same direction, which is of course great for Set and for Yone.
Look at how long this little dragon is terrified for. He then gets CC'd by Bwipo.
That's a shutdown too, by the way. Plus 500.
A quick pick.
Nicely done there from FlyQuest. The thing I wanted to point out, the 500 gold that you're talking about the Busio got did allow him to complete his first item. He has the Abyssal Mask on the Alistar because you're up.
Abyssal Mask is done. Remember we talked about early spikes? You have a little bit of damage here, but this is going to make sure that Fiddlesticks is as strong as he can be. This might be the call. Look at this. 2 items done, Blade of the Ruined King, Mask done, Seeker's done. This is going to be the call. They're going to fight everything from here on out. In fact, they're just forcing for Baron. They say, you know what, you guys can go fart on the dragon. We don't care. We're going to go for this. Now, it has been spotted out, or they did use the sweeper, the lens, so they should know. But this is 2 Blade of the Ruined Kings that can rip through it. Unfortunately, one of them is not present. Is the idea to call them in? Keen's going to try to start burning out. They flash away. He gets the first kill. Oh my gosh. They get one back, but this is so bad for them. This is a missed call. If this is your call that, hey, we're hiding from, if we're hiding from this fight, if we're hiding away from them or forcing them to come to us, you want everyone on it. Quad spent some amount of time going here, then here, then here, then here. Again, the story is someone is missing from the fight. 5 or 1. You want to be moving as 1.
And the response from GenG was way too fast.
I really wonder if the vision plan on top side actually kind of tipped them off. You know, I know that they realized then people are up on that top side. I think the idea from FlyQuest is you hit the vision plant and they say, oh, they must just be clearing out the wards. They're checking if it's there. But I do feel like immediately once that went off on the minimap, GenG started moving up towards the top side. And I think that might be the deciding play here of this 5th game. They get put
All right, so you reposition. Blast Cone from Rumble. Puts on the ultimate. They reposition. Inspired tries to move. He has to flash to not take the damage from the Ziggs. Busio's not in position to peel, which we spoke about was a big deal, and Quad's not in position to do anything.
And then he ends up dropping, and then remember the stacks. Oh, the Blast Cone gets hit as well, knocking Masu back in.
He hit that Blast Cone himself.
Chovy to get a double.
That Blast Cone was massive. I don't think they were expecting Masu to flash over the wall and be in that spot. So I think it was Quad that hit it, trying to blast himself into a better spot to make a play. And instead, Masu goes back into the river, and now GenG with a 4,000 gold lead. It's 23 minutes into the game, and they're bulldozing their way to the FlyQuest.
All right, good answer here. Let them take the maximum. You can't stop them anyways. They have all the sieging tools. You have no siege on this team, none. You have just an ultimate. You have a breaker, right, saying like we can take the all in, but they're not going to give it to you when they're sieging. They're going to make sure to cover the fiddlesticks angles. You see the copious amount of wards here. So the correct answer is to minimal man defend it with as few people as possible. Go get something for yourself up in the top lane. 1,000 gold just went in the pocket of Set. We'll see whether or not he can turn and become something big enough in this fight, especially if we get into that front to back. They can say, all right, guys, we can still look for plan A, which is set dunking the Skarner into the carries, right? And if we can look for that angle, maybe we can find something. They are going to put down so many wards before they do any sieging, though. What I'm worried about for FlyQuest is they don't take any fight. There we go. Proactive play. Go up, scoop, scoop, combo, combo. Very nice. You find a play out of range of this control ward. Beautifully done by Inspired. This guy is playing so incredibly well, guys. We should be watching Inspired's game plan and using him as the new model jungler, because everything he's doing is the fundamental, step-by-step, good plays. How do we find openings? How do we play to our outs? And communicating with the team in the meantime. This guy is playing potentially some of the best League of Legends that we've ever seen, certainly from his position, in the entire world. This is a Blade of Rune King versus a HP stacker. Sterix gauge is gone. We've talked about this. We hate the Sterix gauge build when we see it get outscaled and lose. It is a solo queue pub star special. Continue moving forward. Skarner's trying to do this. Do we have a set dunk? Tried to call for this, but Fiddle didn't have the ultimate, so they don't have enough. Whippo doesn't have access to enough damage there. They get a chunk, but they end up being the Team Liquid to their own FlyQuest. Skarner absorbing all that damage. It ends up being just enough. And again, not everyone on the same page to make the same play. This team cannot, I mean, it can do little bites with Fiddlesticks taking a huge chunk of upfront damage up. But you can't have Kalista and Yone chasing fights. And we've had 3 different times now that these 2 champions have not contributed.
And now Masu gonna get caught out. He's gonna go down as well.
Surely there is no way out here from a Kalista.
Dragon in 2 minutes. It doesn't affect any of the timers. They are still getting this. There's some world where you can say that going and getting this kill means that you can get more resources for yourself, but GenG is going to be too quick with this. And then they're coming up with level 16 spikes. Ultimates are coming back up. They're just going to force this issue down. There we go. Hold on. It teleports right to a wave. Can you dunk him back in? No, it's just Busio. Was that a flat? Yeah, so he teleport flashed. So there was one of those reads where maybe you can get a play on Chovy. He goes for pulverize. You pulverize, you flash yourself to the other side, you headbutt him into the middle of your team, and you hope that you can chain CC from there. Inspired doesn't have fog to go from. You see that he has a little control ward right here. He might try to open for that window. Let's see if he just holds that still, lets them know about it, and then later, a little trick you can do with Fiddlesticks, put an effigy down, and in a spot where they know that you have an effigy, later go stand there. And they might be like, oh no, it's just an effigy. And then pop them. But it's going to be tough. This game is probably 95% favored for GenG, at least.
Has been a thorn in their side ever since. You're down more than 6,000 gold here.
What do? You definitely give up the dragon and play for Baron here. This is your last chance at an all-in. It's got to be the entire fight. You have to say, I'm willing to rest my entire, ride or die. We put our entire team on this. On this play, and it's live or die, right? You just do it no matter what. They're going to zone us out. They've got Maokai Ziggs, so they are zoning methodically, controlling the vision. Ziggs and Maokai both using their ultimates, knowing that they're going to have them back up in time, that they have bought enough time to come get the dragon, that no one can come out of the base because of the broken inhibs. And now you're just going to have those ults back up for the Baron fight, the ultimate Baron fight. They could even just take Baron, not do anything else. We'll see. Smolder, Quicksilver, Sash, making sure that he doesn't go out. You can actually break through this. You can get out of this. You can't get out of the knockups, though. So if you're doing it just right, maybe you get a position. Just be careful. They probably are saying, hey, we're never popping another blast, another Scryer's Bloom. But maybe Inspired says, no, this is the time that it's okay. So it gets an effigy. Oh, that was Masu. Reposition. And what I want him to, what I want to see him do is that trick, like where you have an effigy, later find yourself in position. This Farsight just got so much value for them. Canyon's gonna overstep, and that's okay. You want Canyon to be the guy overstepping. Set's trying to get into position. Yone's in position. Whippo's trying to go forward, but he can't get through the Rumble right here. He has to skip the Rumble, not get hit by the Smolder. The fact that Smolder hasn't dealt damage yet is a big deal. Canyon's trying to zone, and he does get on the Fiddlesticks to pull him out of the fight. But hold on, there's a lot of upfront damage. Nope, that's the end of it. Masu did not push the limits when we needed him to. And GenG is able to take a fight in 3 different directions with the lead. FlyQuest, hats off to you. That was a fantastic game. You guys put in a heck of an effort. I love what the coaching staff is doing there. I love what Papa Smithy's doing. I love what Inspired's doing. I love what they've got going on. We've got a lot to hang our hats on. It's going to be infuriating to these players that they were so close and maybe even had the windows that they needed to win. But GenG coming through and say, no, we're just going to player gap you at the end. We're those guys. I'm him. That's Chovy comes into this game and reminds everybody that I'm him. What a series, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast. It was a roller coaster. A lot of learning to be done. I think this roster is capable of making a run again. And this is the highest level of League of Legends that NA has played, bar none. So a lot to be excited about. And we'll keep on watching. We'll keep on watching the series. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Thanks so much, by the way. Your thumbs up, your follows, your subs, that's what allows us to keep on doing this sort of content. So if you guys don't mind, not even if you don't mind, if you want more content like this, make sure you smash that like and you follow, subscribe, all these things. And you can come check us out at GIGA Gaming Academy. We're going to be giving away esports scholarships to honor champions of the World Championship. Make sure you check it out, all right? See you next time.